Deep within the heart of the Amazon, where the dense green canopy stretched endlessly and sunlight barely touched the forest floor, there existed whispers of a place untouched by time. The jungle, vast and relentless, held many secrets, but none so elusive as the legendary Lost Temple. Explorers, treasure hunters, and scholars alike had searched for it over centuries, but the jungle was a jealous guardian, swallowing all who dared to uncover its mysteries. Among those who sought the temple was Daniel Cross, an archaeologist whose life had been shaped by the stories his father once told him. Legends of golden statues, ancient scripts, and lost civilizations filled his childhood dreams, and as he grew older, the desire to see the temple with his own eyes became an obsession. Now, standing at the edge of the jungle with his small expedition team, he felt the weight of destiny pressing down on him. The journey had not been easy. The heat was suffocating, and the constant hum of insects filled the air, their unseen eyes watching their every move. The jungle, alive and breathing, seemed to resist their presence with every step. Dense vines wrapped around towering trees, and the thick underbrush clawed at their legs as they pressed deeper into the unknown. Daniel glanced back at his team. Sophie, a skilled botanist with an encyclopedic knowledge of the flora around them, Marcus, the guide who had spent his life navigating the jungle, and James, an eager photographer determined to capture every moment. Their journey had begun with a single clue, an ancient map discovered in the archives of a forgotten museum. Faded and torn, it pointed towards a river deep within the jungle, rumored to lead to the temple's hidden entrance. With each passing day, the team battled the elements, pushing forward despite exhaustion gnawing at their bones. They crossed treacherous ravines, navigated through thick swamps, and encountered wildlife that seemed to test their resolve. One evening, as they made camp beside a gurgling stream, Sophie examined a peculiar flower she had collected earlier. "This plant," she murmured, tracing the intricate patterns on its petals, "only grows near ancient ruins." "We're close. I can feel it." Daniel nodded, but doubt gnawed at him. How many others had thought the same, only to find themselves lost forever in the endless green. As he stared into the fire, his thoughts drifted to his father's journal, filled with sketches and notes passed down through generations. The temple had always been more than just a legend in his family. It was a destiny waiting to be fulfilled. Days turned into weeks, and the jungle grew more unforgiving. They faced torrential rains that turned their path into a muddy nightmare and oppressive humidity that drained their strength. But Marcus, with his keen eye and unwavering determination, led them forward. "There's something ahead," he whispered one morning, pointing to a clearing where ancient stones jutted out from beneath a thick blanket of moss. Excitement surged through the group as they cleared away the vegetation, revealing intricate carvings etched into the stone. Strange symbols, unlike anything Daniel had seen before, told the story of an ancient civilization lost to time. "We're on the right track," he whispered, tracing his fingers over the engravings. But the jungle, as always, was watching. That night, as they rested, an eerie silence settled over the camp. The usual chorus of nocturnal creatures had vanished, replaced by an oppressive stillness that made the hair on Daniel's neck stand on end. "Something's out there," Marcus muttered, clutching his machete tightly. And then they came, the shadowy figures that had been following them for days. A tribe, their faces painted with intricate designs, emerged from the darkness. Their leader, an elderly man with eyes that held centuries of wisdom, studied the intruders carefully. "You seek the temple," he finally said in a heavily accented voice. Daniel nodded, his heart pounding. The elder spoke of the temple's power, warning of the dangers that lay ahead. "Those who enter do not return," he said solemnly, but Daniel's resolve was unwavering. With the tribe's reluctant guidance, they continued their journey, following a hidden trail that wound through the jungle like a serpent. The deeper they ventured, the more they felt the weight of ancient eyes upon them. Strange statues loomed from the foliage, their expressions frozen in eternal vigilance. Sophie documented everything, her excitement mingled with a sense of foreboding. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the temple. Hidden beneath layers of vines and stone, it stood in eerie silence, a monument to a forgotten age. The entrance, a massive stone doorway carved with intricate symbols, beckoned them forward. Daniel hesitated, the words of the elder echoing in his mind. But curiosity outweighed caution, and with a deep breath, he stepped inside. The air was thick with the scent of decay and ancient dust. Golden murals lined the walls, depicting a civilization that had once thrived here. They moved deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, their torches casting flickering shadows that danced across the stone. Strange inscriptions told a story of gods and sacrifice, of a civilization that had mysteriously vanished. It wasn't long before they realized they were not alone. Traps, long dormant, were still active, and one false step triggered a cascade of deadly mechanisms. Spears shot from the walls, hidden pits opened beneath their feet, and whispers echoed through the corridors as if the very walls were alive. Fear gripped them, but they pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. At the heart of the temple, they found it, a chamber filled with treasures beyond imagination. Gold and jewels, relics of an ancient world, glittered in the torchlight. But it was the central artifact that drew Daniel's attention, a golden idol, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. As he reached out to touch it, the ground trembled beneath them. The temple, as if angered by their intrusion, began to collapse. Panic erupted as they raced through the crumbling structure, barely escaping with their lives. Outside, the jungle seemed to reclaim what was rightfully hers, vines snaking over the fallen stones. The tribe, watching from a distance, simply nodded, as if they had expected this outcome all along. Daniel stared at the remnants of the temple, realization dawning on him. The temple was never meant to be found. It was a reminder of nature's power, of the delicate balance between past and present. With a heavy heart, he turned away, knowing that some secrets were meant to remain hidden. As they made their way back through the jungle, the weight of the adventure settled upon them. They had found the lost temple, but at what cost? Daniel's dream had been fulfilled, but he understood now that some mysteries were best left untouched, whispered only by the winds that rustled through the endless green.